This is Euronews Now. I'm Helena Humphrey. Here are your top stories. A team of UN nuclear inspectors has arrived at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant after delays en route due to shelling. Europe's energy crisis continues as Russia halts all natural gas supplies through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline. The White House says Moscow is weaponizing energy. And in a long-awaited report, the UN says that China's treatment of the Uyghur community may constitute crimes against humanity.
Nuclear safety monitors have arrived at the Zaporizhzhia power plant, according to a Russian news agency, and will stay in the area until at least Saturday. There's been more shelling around the compound. Moscow is also alleging that Kyiv launched a small amphibious assault to sabotage or capture the plant. Despite this, the team from the UN's atomic agency are determined to complete their mission.
We have a very important mission to accomplish. As you know, we are going to start immediately an assessment of the security and the safety situation at the plant as it is right now. We are going to be liaising and consulting with the staff at the facility.
And the threats of what could come to pass if fighting continues around the area were laid bare by the head of the Red Cross.
In the event of a nuclear leak, it will be difficult, if not impossible, to provide humanitarian assistance. It is therefore high time to stop playing with fire and instead take concrete measures to protect this facility and other like it from any military operations.
An increasing fog of war is developing over the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Among the heated rhetoric, however, is one solid truth. Military activities are increasing around Europe's largest civilian nuclear site, and with it, the chances of a tragic miscalculation are growing.
Ukrainian armed forces continued offensive operations in southern Ukraine, supported by intensive long-range strikes against Russian command and logistics locations across the occupied zone, says the UK Defence Ministry. According to its latest intelligence update, Ukraine's Ministry of Defence released video footage of Ukrainian aircraft operating high-speed anti-radiation missiles that are designed to locate and destroy raiders. Russia prioritizes strong ground-based air defenses. The radar coverage which enables this is a critical capability in its Ukraine operation. A substantial, sustained degradation of Russian radars with these missiles would be a major setback to Russia's already troubled situational awareness. The Ukrainian military and government are repeating requests to avoid any reporting or forecasting of the Ukrainian counteroffensive. A measure is essential if the counteroffensive includes feints or misdirections. The Russian Ministry of Defense and Russian mil bloggers began an information operation declaring the Ukrainian counteroffensive a failure almost as soon as it was launched. It is far too soon to assess the progress of the counteroffensive operation. Meanwhile, Russian authorities released a list of the locations of schools in occupied Donetsk, Luhansk, Kharkiv, Kherson and Zaporizhzhia regions, including precise coordinates, ostensibly warning of possible Ukrainian attacks against them as the school year begins on the 1st of September. The Institute for the Study of War says this announcement could be preparation for Russian false flag attacks on schools, for an explanation of very low attendance, or for some other purpose.
As Ukraine mounts its counter-offensive, aiming to retake the occupied city of Kherson, villages close to the front line have been decimated. Many residents are living in next to rubble. They fear for their lives, but there is also a sense of hope that this military strategy will push back the Russian advance.
There were days when it felt like there was shelling in the backyard, so close. Yesterday and today it was further, and usually it feels like it's going to hit us. But thank God it hasn't happened.
We've been very much waiting for the counter-offensive so that the Russians will be pushed back and there is less shelling here.
We were thinking about how we could do something to improve our living conditions. And what can we do now? How can you improve something if you don't know whether you're going to be shelled tomorrow or not?
Russia's defense ministry says Ukraine's attempts to mount a counter-offensive in the south of the country have failed, with their forces suffering heavy losses in men and equipment. But Ukrainian forces are claiming so-called successes in 3 areas of the occupied Kherson region, fueling speculation that its long-awaited counter-offensive could turn the tide of the war.
It's been 83 years since the Second World War began in Europe, with the German attack on Westerplatte in northern Poland. Within weeks, the country was overwhelmed by Nazi forces and by often unremembered Soviet troops who invaded from the east a few weeks later. And now, with another war raging on European soil, the Polish president was keen to make parallels between the 2 events.
Today we call on all our allies and the whole world to help Ukraine and to stop this Russian imperialism. As our former president Lech Kaczynski, who perished in Russia, said, imperialism should not be feared.
Speaking from Kyiv, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the ideology behind the 2 attacks must be defeated.
We will do everything to ensure that the morning of the 1st of September, the morning of the 22nd of June, the invasion of the Soviet Union by Nazi Germany and its allies, and the morning of the 24th of February, the Russian invasion into Ukraine, will not repeat. We will do everything so that hatred finally loses.
World War II fundamentally remade Europe, and no country more so than Poland. As a percentage of its pre-war population, no country in Europe lost more people than Poland. Its borders were redrawn, its cities razed, and ultimately its political freedom was ended, with Warsaw falling under Moscow's influence for over 40 years.
A move deepening concerns about Europe's winter energy supply. Russian state-owned energy giant Gazprom has suspended deliveries to the French company Engie, citing missed payments. It comes after Moscow halted supplies via Europe's key route. France's Prime Minister has tried to quash any concerns, saying the country is prepared.
The increase in fuel prices or the real risk of a gas shortage show us that defending our values by supporting the Ukrainian people has a price. Saying this means not playing with our fears, it means being transparent about what we have to face together.
But not all EU countries are concerned about disruption. Hungary has signed a deal with Russia for additional gas supplies. Gazprom had already boosted deliveries there earlier this month, even as it stopped flows to other countries.
This increased volume of gas supply will also contribute to the energy security of Hungary and will help to avoid the need to introduce restrictions due to gas shortages.
The gas will be sent via the Turk Stream, which passes through Turkey, Bulgaria and Serbia. But further afield, concern about the strain such division is creating.
President Putin, again, is weaponizing energy. And that's why President Biden set up a task force with the EU back in March to work on ways to increase alternate sources of natural gas to Europe, including from the United States, and to help reduce Europe's demand for Russian energy through increased efficiency and clean energy deployment.
The worsening crisis is pushing Europe towards unity on alternative and renewable energies. This week, Baltic nations agreed to boost offshore wind energy 7-fold by 2030.
You're watching Euronews now. We're back after a short break, so don't go anywhere.